Hello and welcome, everybody. Hello. Hello. We're so organised, we're already behind. But let's get started. Hello, welcome to Digistor and welcome to ASE Edit Royale 2.0. Are we ready to ripple? Yay, that wasn't quite loud enough. Are we ready to ripple? There you go. I'm Mark Richards and I'm the marketing manager at Digistor. We've been a proud sponsor of the ASE for many years now, and it's our pleasure to be able to once again host and stream this event. So thanks to IBM Ustream for the live streaming hosting, and Videocraft, who kindly loaned us the camera that Adrian's using here. Digistor, for those that don't know, empowers our customers through smarter technology and service solutions, which is what that says there. What that actually means is we sell the systems that editors like yourselves edit with and create with every day. We supply the technology and services that the people that you work for use to take those creations to air, to the internet, and around the world. So that's essentially what we do. Setting up tonight is the sort of stuff we love to do. And I'd like to thank our Digistor engineer, Greg Taylor. Greg, you can wave. Who, for technically coordinating this event. If anyone is interested in how Greg managed that, he kindly produced this very simple diagram of the configuration tonight. And he'd love to chat to you about how that works and what's plugged into what and how it gets out to the world. So I have a couple of items of housekeeping. We have two sets of toilets here, so those who need to know, there's one just behind reception where you came in, and then if you follow this hallway down and veer right, there's one round to the right-hand side. So there's two toilets, you don't need to queue. I wanted to also mention that we have access basically to the front of the office here, so the back don't wander down there, so it's just the front from the toilet through to here. Don't forget to avail yourselves of the food and drink if you haven't already. It's here for you guys, so don't leave it for Digistor staff. They'll enjoy it, but it's for you. We have two pizza deliveries, one at 7 p.m. and one at 8 p.m. So don't worry, if it runs out at 7 p.m, there's more coming. You don't have to starve. There's people from Digistor that you'll see with Digistor logos who can help you out, so don't hesitate to ask if there's anything that we can help you with. For those that couldn't make it tonight, anyone can tune into the live stream hosted by on Digistor's website. There's a link on our homepage at the bottom of the page, so people can tune into that and watch it live. We also have a Twitter hashtag, #EditRoyale. So I'd encourage anyone to take photos, make comments, post to that. That's live fed up into to the world, but on the monitor in the conference room as well. That's it from me. I'd like to hand over to Andrea and Christine to take you through the event format and introduce the ASE. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Mark. I'm Christine, and this is
Andrea.
ASE. So just a quick rundown. So all the editors have the same set of rushes, but they've got 3 different music tracks that they can choose from. None of the pieces are the same, so it's going to be a bit of a live wire. Each track is about a minute long. The rushes are about 6.5 hours, so good luck. You've got 2 hours to cut this. So you've got 2 folks on Media Composer, 3 on Premiere Pro. Just a quick word to the editors that some of the footage includes a person in a Sikh, and he's wearing white. So please be respectful about how you cut him. The people in blue and black, you can do whatever you like, but please be respectful of how he's represented. So just a quick rundown.
Can you explain what that means? How to be respectful? Someone's looking a bit bemused.
Oh, okay. I guess don't make them look foolish, or don't make them, look doing inappropriate things or looking absurd, that sort of thing. So I guess presented in a respectful manner is what I...
And do we all know what a Sikh looks like? Yes.
Yeah, okay,
good.
Great. Okay.
That's good to be clear. Yes.
The people in white. So the people in blue and black, you can go crazy.
Go crazy.
Yeah.
Make fun of them.
Yeah, you can ridicule them. So just a quick rundown. So we'll be starting at 7. At 7:15, we'll have a quick chat with our mate Scott, who will be talking to Alison, who cut the original film clip, and I think also she's also having a chin wag with Malena, who won last year.
Oh, great.
And yeah, and then at 7:45 we've got a lucky door prize. So if you haven't got a raffle ticket, make sure you get one of those. We've got 3 prizes. One's a G-Tech hard drive, one's Media Composer Ultimate, and one's Cool Stuff in Premiere Pro Bible, courtesy of Adobe. And then at 9 we're going to wrap, and we'll see all the edits, and whoever wins is by whoever gets the most amount of claps. So it's very, very technical. I'm going to hand over to Andrea to introduce the contestants, and if you can give us a wave.
Okay,
Yeah.
let me just get that thing. So it's lovely to see such a beautiful rough assembly here tonight, and looking forward to chatting with you all as the night goes on. We'll be hassling you and bailing you up the camera to ask you prying questions, so just don't panic and just spill your guts and we'll have a good time. Okay, tonight we have the contestants. Put your hand up if your name is Gabrielle Robinson. Okay, Gabrielle, contestant number 1. All right, now in brackets after he says 1991, which might be the day he got born, or maybe it's when he first edited. It's a significant moment. Anyway, he's a filmmaker and a commercial content producer with several years' experience with prestigious agencies including The Monkees, One Centre and Buddy Films. He's worked as a video editor and layout artist on several film and television projects with production companies such as Flying Bark and Plastic Wax. He's been obsessed with storytelling since he could walk, and editing videos and VFX since the days of Windows Movie Maker and Lego Studios, the good old days. Currently based in Sydney, Gabe works as a digital video producer for Macquarie Bank, that's handy for us, as well as a writer and director of short films, music videos and animation projects. Give it up for Gabrielle Robinson. Okay, the next one I have on the list is Lillian Wang. Who's Lillian Wang? Hiya, Lillian. Lillian started cutting promos 5 years ago. She's a creative editor and promo producer at Foxtel's in-house agency Felix. I Love The Simpsons, Strictly series 1 to 10. I don't know the significance of that. I think it must be the best bit. And cats. She loves cats. I think that's going to play very well for her tonight. All right, give it up for Lillian. The third is Pete Ward. Who's Pete Ward? Pete? Pete over the back on the far side there. All right, lovely to see you there. Pete's an editor based in Sydney who enjoys, as he says, making cool things. Nice. Over the past 10 years or so, I've told stories across film, commercial, experiential, music video and corporate. He spent the last couple of years in Vancouver, Canada as editorial supervisor as Goldtooth, and has just completed work on Australian feature documentary Kings of Baxter. Very good. Okay, thank you, and an applause round for Peter Ward. Pete. All right, second last one is Louis Conway. Louis, Louis' written a sort of an RSVP style. Louis enjoys long walks, dark rooms and good company. Often found behind the monitors staring intensely into his future. The only thing that breaks him away is his wife, child or wine. More often than not, all three come in together in unison. Oh, magnificent. That's a well-rounded editor. Must work at home. And the last is Andy Finn. Oh, sorry, I didn't give anyone to give it up to Louis. Louis! Wait. Okay, over to Andy Finn in the fur, wearing fur tonight. Lucky fur. Andy is an editor-type guy for around a decade now, having worked on quite an eclectic range of projects, from itty-bitty corporates all the way up to big-budget feature films. He's currently working on a rad little documentary called Rockets and Titans. When he's not editing, which is not often, he enjoys awful bands, shaking his fist at the news, so do I actually, and being socially awkward at parties. Yay, Andy! All right. So I think we're just about there, aren't we? Yeah. Are we just about ready to cut? Are we ready to cut?
Well, we're 10 minutes early. Should we?
10 minutes early. We got ahead of ourselves.
We are 10 minutes early. Should we? How do we feel about giving a 10-minute head start? Or? Oh, okay. Okay, let's go.
That's a thought. Oh, how are they feeling?
Right, let's go. We'll take it.
Gabrielle, in a paragraph, how confident are you, and what sort of approach are you going to be taking tonight? Apart from,
Sorry, what?
how do you think you might attack this little project tonight?
I think just quick and clean, I guess. Just get through as much as you can very, very quickly.
How are you going to deal with 6 hours of rushes?
Quickly. I think just skipping between his thumbnails. I think thumbnails will help a lot, I guess.
What are you working on, Abbott?
This is Premiere, so it'll be pretty quick. Lots of finger work.
So you're going to wiggle your fingers a lot, use thumbnails, and think quickly. All right, well, very good. I'll see if there's any other approach from Louis. Louis, what are you going to do?
Yeah, ditto.
We have 10 minutes to fill here, Louis.
Don't judge me for being a Premiere editor. Oh, I can see the judgment.
I like to think of myself as illiterate in both of them.
Me too. I got no approach. Just take it as it comes. Hopefully the music track is good, and let that play it out.
Okay. You haven't even looked at anything yet, have you? Not a thing. I think the selection of the music is going to be interesting. All right, indeed. Yeah. All righty. Now, you, Mr. Furman. You were Finn. Andy. Finn.
Yes.
Andy Finn, what's your approach? You're on
I'm an avid. We'll see. I did have a little really shitty game plan because like in Avid you can set durations for all the clips in a bin and just do it by mass and then like dump them down in the timeline. I thought that could be kind of clever, but I also think that'll end up being a terrible edit. So we'll see. But if it comes like if I've spent the first hour and a half trying to pick a song, then that's what I'll do. That's, my terrible game plan. We'll see how it goes.
It could be a good radio piece, you think? Okay, fantastic. And Lillian, have you got any special tips on how you're going to deal with this tonight?
I didn't expect 6.5 hours, so no. Blank. Came in just to have fun and see how it goes. Yeah. I don't know what to expect, so.
Oh, well, I'm looking at it. They haven't exactly given you an easy labelling system there. My God. It just says rushes, that's all. And then there are them. So that looks a fairly hard way to start. And Peter, does it look the same on the when you open up that bin? Does it just say rushes and...
Just says nothing, just some numbers that I've got no idea what they mean, so no real plan, just gonna make some quick selects and pancake hard.
Excellent. Well, I don't envy you. It looks like a tough project to me. Okay, thank you, Adrian, for that. I think we could probably just about get ready to start. All right. Christine, shall we start the clock? What do you reckon? Have we got time or are we still going?
Oh, we got a question.
Oh!
Maxim, and it's Andy. Can you tell us about footage and beforehand? Tell us about footage. Was that produced by a professional filmmakers or like a slate line cinematographer who was rolling in between the takes?
I will go and take this over to the original editor. You want to know, and the music. All right, let's go and find Alison. Where's Alison gone? Okay. Alison. I wonder if she can hear. Alison, there's been a question about the rushes, which the question is, are they professionally shot, and is the music a real track of music?
It is a real track of music. They are professionally shot. It's a quite high-profile Australian artist, and I'm not going to say any more than that at this stage.
Oh, well, it will all be revealed as we go along, I suppose, but it sounds like it could be a paying gig.
Yeah, get used to it. Pick it. 5 minutes, pick a track. Yeah, exactly.
Did that answer? Oh, okay.
Okay, we're going to give the guys 5 minutes. So, contestants, if you guys take this 5 minutes, select your audio track, and then we'll start at 7. So, why don't you guys get your cans on? Choose your audio track. And so remember, there's 3 tracks. You can choose whichever track you want. Everyone's got a different track, but whatever takes your fancy, and go for it. And then I'll give you a nod at 7 o'clock so you can start cutting. Seven, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Cutting! Good call. Yeah. Thanks, Adam. I can't. Your beer bottle kept covering us. I'm like, Len, Adam, Len.
I'll just let you know something incredibly important at this stage. The pizza has arrived. So what we're seeing here is completely different styles, don't you think, Adrian? We've got Louis, who's got the foot up. He's doing the groove. That's right. Very relaxed looking. Next to him, we've got the use of the chuppa chup for concentration packages. He's sort of got his leg around the front. It's all very OH&S. He's put his leg on his knee. So I think he's getting him purchased there. So we're looking at the rushes for the first time here, and I must say they're a little bit bewildering if you don't know what the song is. A little bit of hidden tiger, crouching dragon, or whatever it is. Yapping?
narrating.
Lovely,
Look at you. Name tag. Randall Titus is my name. I found some.
Excellent. Oh,
We need to do some loose legs. Yeah. Put them outside. Like I'm going to put them.
Or here, or outside of reception.
okay, over here we have the lovely Lillian, and she's looking pretty relaxed as well. Crossed legs, she's got the thumbnails up, she's got the tennis shoes on. And I can see there she's got a Band-Aid on her finger, on a mouse hand. She's been working it so hard. That's a hard-working editor. Okay, so she's looking at thumbnails, ripping through it. And over here, Andy Finn. Nope. Just still looking. Pete, sorry. Okay, we've got Pete Ward here, and he's already started assembling, banging shots together. And we can see there's a bit of Indian-looking action going on. It's almost like a kung fu film, but with Indians. Looks cool. If only we could hear what they can hear. So Pete's just gone straight for it. Okay, Adrian, where do you want to go? So this is a hive of industry here. We've got an absolute room full of concentration. I've never seen such concentration in editors. As you can see, editing is a spectator sport, so if you want to come around and have a look at them editing and see if they do what you do, feel free. Now, Adrian, if someone at home would want to live stream this, where would they go?
What was that, sorry?
If someone was wanting to live stream this from home, what would they be on?
I'm assuming the Facebook page, but that's probably more of a Danielle question, I'd say.
Shall we go and ask her? Okay, this is the magnificent organiser, Danielle. Now, Danielle, if someone in this room was thinking that their nephew might like to watch this from home, live streaming, how would they do that?
So there is a link on the Digistore website to the address for live streaming. I could probably find out what it is and let you know immediately if I just use my phone. Let me just look it up very quickly. I should know this.
Oh, no, don't worry about that. I'm doing it now.
Hang on, Digistore. It's on their website, Digistore. Here we go. Amazing, Digistore. I love them.
Here we are.
Here we go.
So this
Here,
is if you
watch
want to live.
Royale
Here we
live.
go.
Yes, there's a link. You click on the link. It says watch Edit Royale. What makes a hotshot editor or great edit? Here it is, and live stream will be. Oh, here it is. Look.
There it is. Seeing ourselves.
So, introducing Edit Royale, that's the Twitter feed, but here on this page is where you'll find it. So, on the Digistore website, digistore.com.au.
That's, I'll be sending that home to my nephew who's a try-hard editor. And Finbar, if you're listening, which you're not yet, you're magnificent and you've got a big future. All right, thank you. Sorry, Yeah, that's right.
Take every chance you can get.
Yeah.
I say.
Yes, right.
So it should be. It says down. Oh, sorry. Whoops, down the bottom. It should be. It says.
Am I on the wrong, maybe on the wrong page?
So maybe here.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, there it is. Yeah. So click on that. Watch it for you. Session live streaming commences.
Premiere. I haven't seen the latest ones. Oh my god! Because I've been back on. What are they?
Since April last year. They completely overhauled the title. It's a new creature, and it now integrates into After Effects.
Oh my god!
You know, so before, if you took something from
Had to
Premiere and
ship-
stuck it into After Effects,
Yeah.
it'd come up with new titles. Okay? They fixed all that. So where are you working?
I was just recently negotiating a job and I'm trying to kind of.
Editing in the cave?
Well, it's just like, okay, you said.
Well, it's an OHS thing, isn't it? Oh, and this is
Probably 3 months of NFRs they've had, like, of different types of exhibitions, and they want another 30 now. They're not ready yet. And that's why I want to be the guy that comes in and say, make sure that the experience around the
Take it out. And go up to my place up at Wollongby on solar and sit on a bloody window and gaze out at the bush and probably get a better result.
today.
Yeah.
And of course you get a better result
Yeah.
if you're relaxed and
Yeah.
not stressed.
Well, I mean, I find that weirdly enough, I've got a partner who does law, and we've both been the greatest procrastinators in the world. And if we sit in a room together and work, there's something about the fact that you can't bear to not.
Synergy.
Yeah, and you know the shame of not, because you don't want to be a slacker.
Peer pressure.
And suddenly it's on. And I love it. You just need to get through that because you like your job anyway. You just need to get through
It's
that.
like, you know, I need a deadline to actually perform.
Me too. Me too. And nothing happens until that happens.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, it's due tomorrow.
That's right.
Shit,
I know.
An all-nighter.
And you, yeah, that's right. And you spend so much this time waiting for that to happen. Come on, you gotta get worried soon. Surely you gotta get worried.
Whoever bloody goes for a walk, if you haven't got someone else to go for a walk.
Yeah. Something coming in on you.
You make exercise programs. Go, oh yeah, I'm gonna go and exercise.
No, you got to go. Yeah, and you got to have the shame factor in there. You know.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's going to happen.
Egg each other on.
Yes. It's true. It's true. How sweet. So where are you? Hang on, I'm going to grab a pizza. Hey.
Seen the battle royales before, but they were like your Photoshop type ones. So you have like a round, maybe like a 15-minute round with four people, and they switch out. So yeah, it's something like 2 hours. Yeah. So.
Oh, you'll see in the body language thing how they're really relaxed. And what I saw later on was like last year.
Here we go. Yeah. So what's your name?
My name is Gawain Keith McGrath.
Oh, Gawain. Oh, here we go.
When the pressure comes on.
Gawain. That reminds me of like King Arthur legend.
We have an idea for next year.
Oh, okay. What is
Sir Gawain, I just want to ask you a few questions. Have you ever cut a music video?
Many millions, hundreds.
And what is your process of like starting to cut a music video, like selecting? How do you arrange your project?
Well, I think the rushes, cut basically a performance clip and then cut a narrative clip. Depending on how, there's so many different types of clips, sometimes it's just purely After Effects, sometimes it's narrative based, and sometimes it's, techno completely, abstract, it just depends. But if there's a story, I generally cut a performance clip and then cut a narrative and then fuse them together.
So that's quite interesting. So that's almost like similar to documentary where you create like a bed and then you sort of create another one and then you sort of, so in that process you're sort of finding the best of both worlds and then figuring out what structure you want in when you get there.
Well, the sync is locked in a time, the narrative's not, and then there's the funky glitches. The funky glitches, yeah.
Funky glitches, so I'm guessing your like sort of favorite editing, like cutting tips, like do you have like tricks that you like to do?
There's 3 places to cut. On the beat, on the action, or on the lyric.
And
that's my mantra for today.
And what do you have any other little tricks that you keep up your sleeve?
Today, I guess the 3-frame glitch is kind of, just before the kick drum. Somewhere, cut on the snare, cut on... Generally, you've got to cut just before a drum roll, otherwise you won't see the drummer do anything. But yeah, just make it groove like an instrument.
Can you elaborate on the 3-frame glitch? What's that?
Well, I just like 3-frame little glitches.
It's very like, what's it called? Fight Club of you.
Well, I'm feeling a bit Fight Clubby,
So do you cut Avid or Premiere?
Premiere mainly these days, just because I love After Effects and love graphics.
And what are your sort of like graphics strips that you're doing in After Effects that you would typically use for a music video?
Well, after 15 years of doing it, I don't know, rotoscoping, I don't know. There's many things you can do in After Effects, but with the dynamic link, it's a lot faster, and you can do both almost real time for simple little compositing and zhuzhing up an edit.
Do you have a favorite music video that you like from other people?
From other people? Okay, so at the moment, well, Jeepers Creepers. All right, the best music video I've ever seen in my life. I don't know, man. I'm kind of like into my own music videos at the moment. But a lot of Michael Spitcher's work is pretty incredible. I don't know if you know him. He's Michael Spitcher. We did Grinspoon and Powderfinger and like all that kind of stuff. So he's a pretty cool designer as well. So we did Hard Act to Follow, Grinspoon, and a few others. I don't know. There's just been so many clips. They're all like my little babies.
What do you like about those clips?
Strong sense of design, strong sense of rock and roll, bit of narrative, and a great song, which is 60% of the image. Oh. Nice to meet you.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, maybe we'll sit you guys.
Yeah, sure.
When you do the interview,
Yeah, really give it a kiss. Oh, here we go. Right, should we start up here first?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. Oh, we don't know.
Are they? There we go. Oh, shit. It's an entrance. So I think everyone's quite interested in what the hell all these people are editing. So who out better to describe it than the editor? So Alison, why don't you... so this is Alison. Why don't you give us a bit of a background on the project?
Okay, so this is from a hip-hop clip by Elfresh the Lion, who is a Sikh hip-hop artist out of Western Sydney. He's on the Elephant Tracks label, and this is 1 in 100,000, which came out in 2016. And so we edited this clip. The director is Alex Weltlinger, who's a video director and a photographer, very talented bloke. And he... you might have noticed a lot of wonderful locations, and he put a lot of time into this clip because he's using this clip as a way to get more directing work. And so a lot of coordination, a lot of choreography between. So the woman in blue is called Sook, and the Dementor / Ring Wraith is played by James. And so they did a lot of choreography with the sword fights. That's a real sword, people. So and those were real close calls in there. So it was quite, it was quite impressive. If you see, there's a doorway just there. So with Elfresh, he was filmed in the studio singing the song. And throughout the clip itself, he appears in the doorway. So, but they don't get L. So we didn't give him the studio footage because this footage is much cooler, and there was already 6 hours of it. So but L was fantastic. He stayed in sync. It was awesome, and we filled him at all these different frame rates. So we had a lot of fun with his clips as well. So, and that's the thing. Everything was filmed in slow-mo. The director can't remember the frame rate. He says it was over 200, not over 240, except for the jumps, which were 300. Now, the jumps are when James is jumping into the air because we wanted the best floaty costume action. So you'd get that with the slow-mo, and that meant we could do a lot of speed ramps. So the clip itself has a lot of speed work in it. Yeah.
So these guys got 2 hours to put all this together. How long, like speed ramp sounds like quite complicated. How long did you have to put it all together?
As I said, Alex wanted to do this, spend time on this and do it properly, so he managed to negotiate 2 weeks for the edit, which is a long time.
Yeah,
so that's the edit and the grade, which was fantastic. But pretty much we needed it. Almost every shot with more than one person in it is a split screen. And I'm not kidding. And unless they're touching, and a lot of the time it's up to the moment they touch, it's a split screen. And the reason we did that was we did a lot of speed ramping. So James looks a lot creepier if you make him fast. So we sped James right up on a couple of occasions. And so when they're together, it's slow-mo, but as soon as they separate, he's off. And it made him a lot creepier to play with the speed. So we really sped him up on a few things and kept her. But I'm not kidding. And between the floaty costume, because like the costume was really great, jumping up and down, so we'd split screen it so we get the best floaty costume action and get her in the place we wanted her to be in. So, but everything was locked off. So pretty much the scenes with the people in white doing the swords, not too many split screens in that, there's a couple. And there's a big sword fight on the train track. There's no split screen in that, but that's it. So
what was like some of the most challenging aspects working with this particular footage?
Besides the split screens?
Besides the split screens.
They were actually full on, actually, because there's some stuff where they're quite close together, but if they're not actually touching, so the screens are actually moving a lot to get around the moving of the costume and to get around the moving of the sword. So there's actually a lot of action going on, which you can't see in that. But there is a scene, let's see if any, yes, the one with the smoke, she's on the alley there. She had to jump down from a cliff top into a riverbank. This is the end of the music clip. She couldn't make the jump without killing herself. She did about 3 takes of it, but the landing wasn't working, and they stopped it there because they didn't want to die. So we had to cut around that. And so the final scene, there's a lot of smoke in it, and the final scene is pretty much invented in the edit because they didn't get the jump they needed. So for some reason they went nuts with the smoke machine, so I had smoke filling the screen, and I used that to cover up any cuts and to obscure the figure and to reveal and all that sort of stuff. So there's a lot of smoke work going on there, which was quite helpful.
So is there a story behind all this footage, or?
Yeah, so it starts off with Suk is with her friends, and they're practicing the Sikh martial arts, so they're the people in white are her friends. And I don't understand much about this, but the director was telling me, you can do this, so I knew it was important. And the figure in black takes out her friends one at a time. That was fun because when they were shooting the takedowns, they only cleared the screen once. So there's 4 takedowns, only one of them cleared the screen. So after their takedown, you still got a head sticking up into the screen. So I actually had to mask them out, which was all sorts of fun. But yeah, so he takes out her friends, and then so she chases him, and he takes her down. So he takes her power. They have a big sword fight on the train tracks, and he takes her sword, which is her power. So it's all about self-confidence and being in control of your life and depression, basically. That's what the song's about. And so then she has this big voyage through, she's lost her power, she's lost her self-identity. Then she takes him on again and gets back her sword and chases him down and takes him out. So, but that's what the song's about. It's 100,000, so it's a self-identity type thing.
So it'd be interesting to see like how all these people over here twist that meaning into something else.
Well, it's actually really cool footage for this, so I thought it would be useful because you don't have to apply that meaning to it. It's people having fun with swords. It's some serious sword fighting. The stuff on the train track is amazing, and I'm surprised James isn't dead because like the sword, I did not have to do much there. I did speed ramps, but in terms of how close those close calls, it's unbelievable. Yeah, so there's some really good sword action, really good leaping, and because Suk knows what she's doing with that sword. She's a serious martial artist, and James is a stuntman. So they knew what they were doing, and there was some really good footage with that. So hopefully these guys can have some fun with it. Yeah.
And did you like with the fighting? You know, like fighting is almost like a dance, so there's a bit of a rhythm to that. Did you build a bit of rhythm with the song, with the movement?
Yeah, absolutely. It's sort of in a break in the song, so there's a bridge or something. I'm not quite sure what you call it technically. But the big thing was, first of all, I found the best fights, so the best blows that looked the coolest. And then it was like left, right. So she swings it this way, back that way, and that sort of thing. And so it was just getting that, and it was speed ramping. But I might add, I was working full-time, doing this in my free time and editing a documentary at the same time, so it's lots of fun.
Oh
so I was doing that fight scene. It was like wee hours of the morning. The director was coming over about 9, and at about 6 a.m. I just gave up and said, right, that's it, that's what he's getting, and he loved it. So that was but it was a lot of speed ramping and once again the speed ramping to get the rhythm. Mm-hmm. And because the costume's fantastic, so it floats down and flies up, but just to get that, so lots of speed ramping in that scene. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. And so you just said you was working on doco. Like, how does working on a music video different from other things that you do?
What I really like about music videos is you've got this set time. Because in editing, you can always stretch the time and you set your own rhythm, but in the music video, it's set. And you have to fit in the parameters of this is how long the song is, this is where the chorus is, and it doesn't matter what the footage is doing, you need to curb the footage around that, because usually you follow the footage and what the shot wants to do. But with a music video, you've got to also work with the music, which is, yeah.
So, like, working with the music, like, kind of, music has an obvious beat that's kind of beating. Like, how slavish are you to that beat and the rhythm of the song?
It depends how the beat's working with the footage. So it is a real mesh with the footage and the song, and also in this case the story, because like the director had a very specific. This happens here. This happens here. This happens here. He had beats throughout it that he wanted. So there's a one. L goes 1, 2, 3 drop, and on that drop we had 2 shots we had to get to. So we had to get the character there for that, and so it was that sort of thing as well. But it changes every time. So. I recently we did one with Alex, we did a clip for Earth Boy, but it's a performance clip. It's Matilda, and it's basically all studio. And so that was a lot more fun because it was just jump cut city. And I had lots of performances of ridiculous number of takes of Earth Boy, and we had multiple Earth Boys on the screen and all that sort of stuff, but it was just like I could go bang, bang, bang on the beat as much as I liked because we weren't following the footage as that much. It was all about the performance,
Yes. Yeah, sure.
So footage. That's red, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
It's red full frame.
It's
Is
4K.
It 5K?
Yeah.
4K.
I think it was 216. Yeah, I think so.
1080
Yeah.
delivery.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Cool.
we delivered 1080. Yeah.
Because interesting, it wasn't specified to everyone that that's the source footage, so you can actually crop in and haven't.
No, these
none of
guys.
them-
I wasn't that cruel to them. No, this has been reduced down to 1080. So because these guys 4K would just been too much footage, like too big a load for tonight. So I exported everything out, and I didn't give them all the takes. Alex does a lot of takes, so I gave them the 3 best takes of each shot, just because there's so much damn footage that they have to get through already. But yeah, they didn't get the 4K to play with. So
thank you.
Yeah.
So like with cropping in, like kind of with 4K and HD now, that you can kind of do that more. Like, I guess question to you and to everyone, like, do you all like crop in like heaps, or I sometimes don't like to.
It is. I don't like to either because generally the framing is important. But the start of this, there's the people in white once again. They had their, they were doing their dancing or sword fighting. I'm not entirely sure what it was, but they shot it really far. They were a long way out, and so I cropped in quite a lot for those, just because we could actually see them, which would be good. Yeah, but that was pretty much the only time I did that for this. But I generally do. Sometimes it does help. Go into the detail. You can move things around the screen a bit so you want the focus on a particular thing on the screen. Yeah.
I find it's a bit of a double-edged sword, pardon the pun, like in terms of, like I actually like working with limitations.
Yeah.
Like kind of cropping in and having unlimited reframes, to me kind of, it's almost like it's cheating. Like
yeah, I usually get the director's permission before I do that. Like, we can do this if you want to, and but I agree with you. I like it's part of the fun of being the editor is having the limitations of this is the footage you've got, this is how it's set up, and
So does anyone else have any questions about this quite strange footage? Yes.
I'd be interested a little bit more about the actual process from the red, did you say 4K to 1080? What was that actual workflow?
Oh, so when I edited it was in 4K. I just didn't give these guys 4K because I was respectful of how much Digistor storage had.
You're a Media Composer editor, right?
I edited, this was edited on Media Composer, yep. I haven't edited anything else on Media Composer ever since. Might have something to do with the split screens.
Okay.
Yeah, but I switched to Premiere after that, so yeah.
No, very cool. And you were talking before about just working to beats, right? And when you're cutting music videos, which that's the obvious workflow because that beat is driving and you want to match up with it. What do you think about like Paul McLeish and Baby Driver and the way that movie was cut, whereby after every pretty much sequence, they look back and look at the dailies and match it to the actual beats to see if that particular shot was right. You know what I mean? That's even the next level of matching up. And to me, it's kind of like, couldn't you just do that in post? Realigning to the beat, but they went through a lot of trouble to.
Yeah, I think if that was an important part of the way they shot it, and it sounds like it was, and that's how they wanted the film to work, then yeah, absolutely, that would be a way to do it. And it's a different ball game for every clip you do and every movie you do. You can never say, oh, I'm going to do it this way, because you've got to respect the footage. And even with directors, they think it's going to go one way, and it goes a completely different way. So this. I think the climax, and I can't remember how this was, but what was supposed to be the climax scene in this turned out not to be, and we shifted it to something else, and that's just because the footage was cooler in a different scene. So I think the takedown in the forest, if we've got it, yeah, no, we don't have it here, but that was actually interesting. I did a lot of playing with that. A lot of the footage that ended up on the camera wasn't supposed to end up there. So we had things like James was crouching down in the forest, he was resting, and then he stood up, and I actually used that stand and speed ramped it so it looked like he was rearing up at her and that sort of thing. So.
Thank you. Can you describe your workflow? Because, like Andy Finn, for instance, grabbed all the raw footage and dropped it on the timeline and sped through the takes. Other people started with the cutting media of audio. Then someone would do in-out and then drop from the bin. How did you edit it that way?
I scroll through everything. I scroll through all the clips so I know what I'm in for. That's the first thing I do. And then, yeah, I just cut from the take. So I generally, because Alex shoots too much, I'll just go for the last take unless there's a reason not to, because otherwise it's just too much of a headache. And that's just for the assembly. And then when Alex comes in, we can negotiate other takes depending on what he had in mind.
So you didn't have a list of best take?
Jesus, this was 2 years ago. I think we did actually. Alex does do that. Yeah, I think we actually did have best takes and all that sort of stuff, but I think there was usually 1 or 2 for each of them. But yeah, and also it was just getting the story together and figuring that out. So, but yeah, I cut from the clip, so in out onto the timeline like that. Also, one thing I do, I don't know if anyone else, don't know if you do this in music videos, if I've got multiple takes and I don't know which one to use, I'll have them all on the timeline. And so that means I can turn off the clip and we can say, okay, we can look at this version. Turn off the clip, look at this version. The Earth Boy one, I think I had 21 layers because they did so many takes and they were so good and we just went through all of them. Yeah.
Well, I think that's the big difference, isn't it, between a performance clip and just a more abstract, where with the performance you're kind of stuck with like the performance, right? Like kind of like they sing this bit of the lyric at this very particular point. Yeah. So you kind of, in a way, I don't know how you work, but for me, it's about just finding the bits that are good, and then you just put that together, and it's almost like the footage cuts itself.
Yeah. I think because Alex does so many takes that I've got lots of bits that are good. So yeah. That's why I ended up with having them layered. I don't edit like that usually. I don't edit with layers. Yeah. I edit on the one line. But with music videos, I make the exception because I want to keep track of what's good as well. So, yeah. Okay, I liked this bit, but I'm not sure which to choose. So, but it's there and I can grab it easily. I don't have to go hunting for it. Yeah. It's on the timeline. I can find it, and so I've got it all organised, so I know which layer's which. But yeah, so.
How many people here, just as a general question, like who works in music videos? Kind of. How's your experience in your workflow? Kind of different, or is it the same to?
Very similar to what was just described.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you just layer it up and then just chop out all the crap?
A lot of playing around. Once you've got performance footage, like that's your foundation, and then everything around that, you've usually got enough where the whole video could be performance.
Yeah.
And then you can play around outside of that. I mean, this case is different, but most of the time you've got them as a band performing. So then it's just like weaving a bit of a narrative on top of that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Cool. And how about you two?
I haven't found the perfect workflow for making music videos yet.
Yeah, right.
I'm still trying. I've tried everything, and I always have to go back to square one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Usually I get to where I think I'm nearly finished, and then I have to go back and I say, no, I've done something wrong, or it's not quite right, or someone else points something out to me, and then I can't look at it ever again.
Yeah.
And yeah, but this guy's got more experience than me, so.
Yeah. And how about yourself?
Well, I sync up all the rushes and have a million layers.
Yeah.
Tap out the beat, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And then, just basically cut the performance stuff over, probably usually about 40 layers, and just chop it to the grid, and then pull it all back out of time, so it's even funkier. If that makes any sense.
Cool. Well, just moving on, we're going to talk to Marlena. We're going to throw her up in the
Marlena won last
spotlight.
year.
Get up here. So thank you, Alison. So Marlena won the Edit Royale last year. So we thought it'd be a great idea to bring you up here and maybe offer some tips into what these kids should be doing.
Well, ours was obviously different. We had our track wasn't a minute. It was varied in length, so it was like 3 or 4 minutes. So my tip was like, pick the shortest track. But that's not the case here. I went through all the rushes first, which is how I usually do my edits. And then if I saw something really cool, I just selected it and color-coded it. And then I made my edit and did a story rather than doing something just like to look cool. Yeah, so that's how I did it. And yeah.
And do you work in music videos frequently?
No, that was my first music video.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, that was really cool. It was really fun. I'd love to do more. It was really fun to do. Something different. Yeah.
Yeah. And so what do you normally work in?
Commercials, promos, online content. So yeah, I do a lot of trailers and trailer cut downs for movies, and I do work with like music, like musicians. So I do, but commercials and promos for like their albums and stuff like that. But yeah, not so much music videos. Yeah.
Yeah.
So a lot of advertisements. Yeah.
And how did you find the experience of cutting in 2 hours? Because you normally don't have that short a time.
So stressful. I was like panicked like at the end of it. I was like, oh my gosh. Yeah, like so we had 4 hours of slow-mo footage to go through, and for the first like few minutes I was just taking my time going through everything, and then I'm like, oh my gosh, it's half an hour like gone through and I haven't gone through everything yet. So I kind of sped through it. And then the second hour I just laid everything down. But yeah, it was very stressful, and I'm so glad I'm not doing it again this year.
So was it a case of it all came together at the very end,
Yeah.
or were you building it piece by piece?
I was building it piece by piece, and then I was like, oh, I only have 20 minutes left, and I still have like 3 minutes left of the song. So I just quickly just put everything down and then tweaked it at the end. Yeah, and then the last 10 minutes I did a really quick rush grade and like letterbox everything, and right. it was like my little few tricks at the end. I was like, oh, quick, make it look a bit cinematic.
So do you normally have like an edit toolkit of stuff that you like tweak and play around with? Because your video was quite different from the other ones where you employed a lot less tricks.
Yeah,
I
kind of made it more about the story and about like a little love story that happened. If I had obviously had more time, I would do a bit more, cool tricks and stuff like that. But that's the point of the competition.
Yeah.
Just quickly do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what software did you edit on?
I was the only one on Avid. Yay, Avid. Woo! And I was the only girl. Yay. So yeah, go Lillian. Lillian?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Go Lillian. I'm voting for Lillian. I'm biased, yes.
Yeah, cool. Does anyone have any questions for Marlena about the experience last time? Or shall we get to the lucky door prizes? Yes.
Do you work in a company or in...
Yeah, full-time. I work at DMC Digital. So we are a production house, and we do everything from start to finish, film and finished product. Pardon?
Oh, a clip. Oh, wait.
No.
You'll have to go look online on the
I think
Facebook
it's
for
on YouTube,
the winning
but
clip.
it's
Yeah.
okay. It's not a. It's not. Yeah. It was what I did in like 2 hours. So don't judge me too much.
Have you watched it since?
No.
Yeah. Oh, we should get it up.
No. No.
Great. Cool. Well, I think it's time for the lucky door prize. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And,
good luck, everyone.
Yeah.
Now it's time for the intellectual part of the evening. It's the Lucky Door Prize. We've got some absolutely fabulous prizes, and it's going to be drawn by the Barrel Blokes.
So,
The prize, go, tell us what the
can
prize is.
so the first lucky door prize is a G-Tech 1 terabyte hard drive, and if I could ask Mark to come up and pull the lucky ticket. Oh, I said everyone got their tickets ready?
It's a green ticket, I know that.
Thank you, lovely assistant.
Okay, where's the thing? Go. It's a green ticket. The letter is C, and the number is 76. C76.
C76.
You have to be here to win. Did we say that up front?
Sorry?
Did we say that up front? You have to be here to win. Is there a green 76?
Oh, no. I think we.
No.
Wait, 5 seconds and it's a redraw.
Okay.
Oh!
Hey, we have a winner. There you go. Congratulations. Where's the prize? Oh, that's your prize.
And the next prize.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Mark. Next prize is Media Composer Ultimate, courtesy of Avid. And if I could ask Randall to pull the lucky ticket. Oh, Randall. Oh, can I ask Mark to do a pretend to be Randall, and he could.
Just as well, we're Australia's premier elite Avid reseller in Australia. We can draw the Avid prize. Okay. It's a C. It's a green ticket. Have I done this before? Number 33. 33. Oh, we're here doing this again.
33. C33.
Can we put the word out to the kitchen and the various other?
Put down your pizza.
C33. It's not. Is it a competitor? Could be. It could be a competitor.
C33.
33. We have a winner. Congratulations. It's a copy of Media Composer Ultimate for you.
Thank you so much.
You can say a speech.
Oh, I don't.
Thank you.
The third prize is the Cool Stuff in Premiere Pro Bible, courtesy of Adobe. If I could ask Fiona, our ASE Presidente.
Fiona.
The Premiere Pro Bible.
Right, go. Here we go.
It is green C75.
C75.
Oh, it's heavy. It's heavy. And that's it on the Lucky Door prizes. You have to come back next year to win if you didn't win tonight. If you come many times, you'll end up being a winner for sure. Easier than Lotto. Okay, back to the competition. And we're at the halfway mark, I think.
Oh, should we check in the candidates? Should we check on how the people are going?
Yes.
Also, 8 o'clock is more pizza.
All right. Okay. Andy, you're at the halfway mark. I'm just going to badger you for a little while. Have you found a way through this edit?
Through the what, sorry?
Have you found a way through this edit?
Yeah, I think so. Like I started with my ending,
and then I kind of went through and I worked out what my little story would be, and now I'm just filling in the shots. So I think, yeah, and then I'll just go back and finesse beats and stuff like that. But I think it'll be okay.
So you've worked with the storyline. You've actually developed a storyline in it.
Yeah.
Is it a very short storyline?
It is. It's really not very complicated. It's a girl with sword fights guy, and I'm just trying to make sure it kind of makes sense. We'll see.
How do you rate yourself feeling inside at about 1 out of 10 at the moment? Stress and confidence.
Yeah, I don't do stress or confidence, so I wouldn't even know where to start with that.
Alrighty. Well, best of luck and keep chopping.
hard, you can't tell. Yeah, but I think it's constantly loud. Is it? Oh, that's weird.
Maybe just bring it out if there's a close call.
Cheers.
Hello.
Okay, well, I'll try that, but I don't know if it's gonna. I don't
10 minutes to go. 10 minutes to go. Shall we start shooting, Adrian? Adrian, should we shoot something? Yeah. Well, from all the discussion that's been going on, the most fascinating thing for editors tonight has been the double timeline, which has been done by Peter Ward. I don't know if anyone's ever edited this way, but I haven't. Let's go and have a look at over the shoulder of Peter Ward, and I'm not going to bug him too much because he's only got 9 minutes to finish, but let's look at his timeline. Has anyone ever done this before? So what Peter's got at the top, can you see that, Adrian? At the top he's got selects and he's pulling them out into a timeline below. I don't even know how you set that up. And yet he's done it and he's working in that way. There's another, oh look.
2 timelines? What's going on there? What even is that? What kind of magic is that?
It's a good plan. Good plan. It's a good.
Nesting stuff and then dragging it down.
That's the great thing about Premiere. You see, you can do that with the windows. You can absolute flexibility with the windows. And so having 2 timelines on the screen at once, why not? Good idea. Absolutely. Top marks.
Anyway, that's all new for me. And when you come over here, Adrian, follow me. When you come over here, there's a totally different approach. And he's finished. He's done. And he's just got one timeline, one huge set of mods, and he's cut it all night that way. So, a totally different idea. Everyone's really into effects now. I think everyone's kind of coming up to the last run of it. I'm seeing titles going on. I'm seeing some very nice keyframing. Louis just been going solidly non-stop for 2 hours now. He's made a story with titles on it and everything. He's so fast. And Gabrielle has gone from an extremely casual pose that he had, leaning back with his feet up. Now he's in the defensive crouch. And he's got a couple of layers going there.
Completely out of it.
Feeling the pressure.
4.
So you're a bit drunk.
No. We got this. It's fine. It'll be fine.
You don't need to use the bloat.
Oh my God, he's actually got something in the door.
That's a composite. Sorry, I can't speak.
Wow, that's very snazzy. I think we're in for a bit of a treat with the effects palette tonight. I think it's going to be a masterclass around here and a mistress class. Let's go and see what Lillian's doing. Lillian is coming into the home stretch, last 5 minutes. She's looking calm, feeling relaxed.
Oh, yeah. Nothing I can do about it now.
Nothing she can do about it. That's true. But Adrian's thinking. Well, what do we got here? She's pulling it onto one track. She's got a hell of a lot of effects on it. She's got a saw. There's a lot of jeopardy in this. Oh! Good shot. It's a pretty tense old time. Everyone knows how that feels coming up to the last 5 minutes.
Interview her producer.
I shall interview.
Hey, Adrian.
What's that?
Interview Hayley. Oh my God, no, I'm not an editor. Too late. So, how do you think your friend Lillian's going?
I know she's going to kill it. So, yeah, 100%. You've got it in the bag. Yeah.
Well, how's her form been today?
Sorry, how's
her form been today?
So good, so good. She's been in the zone. I came over a couple of times. She just gave me that look, you know. No, but yeah, she's got this, I reckon. Yeah.
Okay, so we'll be a clapper meter, so I expect big clapping from you. Hey, I'm going to ask Scott. Scott, do you have any favourites?
I have a friend competing, but I'm gonna keep it a secret because I want to be true neutral. But you know, I think kind of anyone who's using app, kind of a personal favour of mine. So let's just keep it there, you know.
Let's do a walk around and see who people might be voting for. Hey, I'm going to ask you. Hey, have you been watching people cut? Who do you reckon's going to win?
Ooh, I don't know. I think him, Louis. I'm not sure if he's going to win, but I think he's doing something great.
Okay, let's go ask this guy. Excuse me, may I ask you a question? Who do you, out of all the competitors that you've been watching, who do you think might win?
Who will win? I will vote for Lillian as she has the messiest screen, and I believe that Chaos is good.
Oh, yeah, and what do you like about what Lillian's doing?
As I said, like her whole screen is like a bit messy, so she has all the things all over the place in a way to wrap her head around it, and I think that is the best process.
Okay, so you like it. I'm gonna ask Richard. Thanks. Hey, Richard.
Yes.
Who do you think might take this out?
Definitely Andy Finn. Definitely. Yeah.
And why is that?
Because he's my mate.
Oh, look, I don't know. I haven't really been watching them editing. I've just been watching their edit face, like their concentration, and I think Lillian's very critical of herself. She's been going and doing some crazy faces, but no, I don't know yet. We'll see what they come up with.
Is that a couple of your faces that you do when you're...
Yeah, I do that all the time probably, and swear and talk to myself. Isn't that what we all do? I don't know.
2 minutes to go. 2 minutes to go.
Let's...
What's the weirdest thing you've ever said to yourself when you're editing?
I don't know. It's just a lot of F words. A lot.
Orly, have you been watching the editors?
A little bit. I've been watching their timelines. Yeah.
And whose timeline looks most like yours?
Probably the ones on Avid. Yeah, they're all different. They all work with their waveforms, which is what I do, yes. Now you can these days, which is good. It's interesting to see how many video layers people use. I try to reduce mine, but yeah, no, it's interesting.
Is there anyone that you fancy might win?
I don't want to say.
Okay, we are on the last minute, everyone. So 1 minute to go.
So start putting your last shots in, or maybe put your first ones in. Oh, the excitement is palpable at this stage. At this point, you have to watch out that you don't select all and delete. Calm and confident. It's his 14th Chuppa Chup for the night. And we've got 10 seconds to go. Adrian, 10, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Done!
Mouse is down!
All right, so stand away from the vehicles.
Lillian, so let's talk me through. Can we look at your timeline?
Sure.
Lillian, do you think that the fact that you're the only one tonight not drinking might give you an edge?
Like these, I wish I actually drank.
Oh, Lillian, do you have the Asian glow? No. Oh, I'm allergic to it too. Oh,
yeah.
Lillian, take us through your timeline. Oh, look at this. Look at this nice, tidy, Avid timeline. One vision track, beautiful, and a mix down.
Pretty anal about that stuff. What do you mean take you through it? So just put shots down.
What was your process of selecting your footage?
It was a pretty slow because there was so many. Figured once of it's just a repeat of some shots and stuff. So for me, it's like, how do I tell the story? And like, yeah. So basically, kind of intros for me are always the hardest, regardless of what I do. Once that got going, it's like the time was like already like an hour, and I'm like, yeah, let's just do it, like, and just basically laid everything down, and then figured out like the kind of like the chronological process of it, whether I wanted to go back and forth or whatnot. And then the music track that I picked, basically, I had a lot of trouble with that. I kept wafting back and forth as well.
Oh, did you change a couple times?
No, there was 2 tracks, and I selected this track, but I kept second guessing myself. Like, maybe the other one would have been better. But I figured, keeping in mind how you guys were saying to be respectful and stuff, the other track was probably too rocky or could have looked silly, but this one had more of a story. I hope what I've done, like, no disrespect, like, not trying to do anything, I hope it's not. That was just me freaking out going, oh my God. Because I was thinking of actually not using the characters in white, but I felt like the story that I was trying to build kind of needed it. It was kind of like a revenge story kind of situation. So, yeah.
Oh, great. Like a little storyline.
We'll see how it goes. Thank you.
Oh, let's go.
Okay, well, the word is that there are pizzas for the competitors that are reserved for the competitors as soon as they're clear. So that's good news. We're waiting for the mix downs. Yeah. I will talk to Louis. No. Louis, come and talk to me about your cut. Hey, Adrian. I wanted to talk to Louis about his cut because I did notice that he's got a way of dancing as he edits. I don't know if anyone noticed that, but all night long he's kind of grooving to it. Yeah. And I just wondered where that comes from. Are you a professional dancer?
Partially, yes, yeah. You know, I'm inspired by Walter Murch. And if you guys know who Walter Murch is, he stands up and he edits and he wants to feel the cut. I stand up and I edit and I feel the cut. So dancing, you know, I get the same, you know, vibe or whatever, you know, feeling from dancing around.
Ah, it's very good. And also, yeah, I'm not going to ask a follow-up. You put some titles on. This is a spoiler.
Yeah, just to try close it off and make it feel like an actual product or, you know, something just that feels complete or semi-complete, even just to guide the story a little bit. Yeah, I just threw some text in there just to cheat.
And it didn't say, was it sort of like a sales thing, like a crawl across the bottom saying, you know, next week rock bottom prices? Wasn't that?
No, it was definitely in line with hopefully, you know, a feature film or, you know, something Tarantino-esque, you know, who knows? It could be anything.
It could be anything, all right. So that's, have we spoken to everybody? Gabriel, come on over here. Now, how many Chupa Chups have you eaten tonight?
I've lost count. I've had a lot of wine.
A lot of wine, a lot of Chupa Chups, fairly high sugar levels. And how do you think it all went?
Actually, surprisingly well. Midway through, I was panicking. I was like, wasn't sure what to do, but then I was like, that's okay, it's fine. And another Chupa Chup, and it was fine. and another glass of wine. And then I was like, actually, this is okay.
Was there a point where you thought, no, it's not okay?
Yes, about midway through, and I was like, I can't do this. And I just sat there and I was like, I'm just going to sit here until something happens. And I was like, oh, and then it just came together.
Does that happen to you every time you edit? Because it happens to me.
Wine expedites that process. You go, oh, okay.
Well, very good, and I'm really looking forward to seeing yours as well, because he did a bit of a special key that I noticed, and I'm not very good at keys, so I'm looking forward to seeing the sneaky key.
Me too, I haven't seen it yet. I hope it turned out well.
All righto. Well, I think we're probably getting close to having it up. Thank you, Gabrielle. Thank you, Louis. And get some pizza. Line your stomach. So let's see. Go and see what's going on. Oh, while we're here, Adrian, I just want to have a look at what the trusty Timothy's food groups are. His diet for the night has been tissues and potato chips, which is classic editing fare, I have to say. The late night visit to the vending machine. This person here just had tissues. What's that?
Hello.
Well, what do you put your diet choices down to? Is this what you chose to eat?
Oh, look, you got to find whatever you can in the edit suite. So whatever gives you energy, you take it and run with it.
Very good. The gear. Yeah, let's have it hear what you're doing here.
Sure. Okay. So what we're doing is just switching cameras to the live stream. We're doing that using a Blackmagic software. And I've got a bunch of choices here, which I've been switching throughout the night. Either the editor's computer or the camera, which is looking at us right now, which is currently on. At a click of a button, I can switch to another screen, which I've just done. And I can switch between different screens and different opportunities that are available, depending on what suits. So I'll switch it back to us right now. There you go.
Absolutely brilliant. Thank you, Timothy. You've been doing a wonderful job as well. There he goes, switching away. I think we're there. Exactly where I was.
think we're ready to screen. If everyone can come to the front, I think we're going to start off with Gabe's. Are we good? Should Gabe come up? Okay. At the end of it, so we're going to go down, screen everyone's, and at the very end, we're going to do a clap-o-meter. So save your applause for the end. We'll run through each editor, and whoever you think is the most deserving, clap your hearts out.
But at the end.
But at the end.
Don't peak too early.
Think about your clapping. Thank you, Gabe. The next one we're going to line up is Louise.
This reminds me of working at SBS, and this happened to me quite a lot. We'll all be using the patented free download of app Decibellometer to measure it. So you can be sure we're incredibly empirical about it. Microphone. This is part of the clip, actually. It's experimental. No clapping. The next one is, of course, you can see it's Andy Finn. got a kind of a delay, like if it's playing in the Soviet Union or something. I'm afraid any applause that goes on now will be taken off the final. Yeah, we just have to wait for next door to catch up. That's weird. Is anyone actually in there? I think the next one's Lillian. Lillian. I give up. Okay, and the very last one is Pete. What's wrong? Okay. All right, just completely remove the word Lillian from your mind and now put it back in again. That was Peter Ward's, and this is Lillian Wang's. Yeah, this is really going to mess you with your minds. Okay. Okay, so you've all got young, agile minds, don't you? And you can remember everybody and everyone who did what, can you? Or do we need to go right through it again? Shall we run it through again? We could. What do you think? It's once more? I think we probably need to. Yeah. Do you want to get them to talk about their videos? Or should their work speak for itself? What do you think? Yeah. Let's see them again. Keep it clean. Gabriel. Hold that thought. Hold that thought. The next will be Louise. This is like, Brechtian. It's deep, isn't it? Andy Finn. Peter Ward. All right, do I dare? Okay, now if I call out a name, we have the clapometers. NASA-approved technology here. I think there's a problem that the phone apps are all the same phone apps. So maybe anyway, we'll just see how it all goes. Well, we have a little test just to see how it goes. Just imagine you're applauding Mark. Righto. Well. Oh, I didn't see. Oh, yeah, no. It says maximum 104. Woohoo. Oh, okay, so what do we got? All right. So can you write those numbers down as they go on? Yeah.
Just going to write the highest number when clapping.
Well, what about the... Yeah. Right, well, I got 104.5. You're not going to be that. Come on. Mine might go dead. My phone's about to go dead. Use yours. Okay. Radio, standing by. I think we'll go around, if you can remember vaguely how it went, round the room. So the very first contestant, everybody focus. Remember, I'd give a one-liner on each of them, but it'd be like having your mother describing your underpants to a neighbour. So we'll just go with Gabrielle Robinson. 3, 2, 1, applause. I can see there's a little problem with this when you've got Gabrielle clapping. No, that's fine. Okay, the next person to applaud is Louis Conway. Very beautiful. Okay, now we've got the third person, Andy Finn. And the next one, of course, is Lillian Wang. And the final contestant is Pete Ward. Now, what do we call that? Interference? No, I don't think we need the meter for that one. All right, what do we got? Yep. Oh, okay.
I wasn't a part of the official judging. I was just doing it out of curiosity.
Oh, okay.
It's Peter.
All right, Peter! So if Peter could come down now. Could Peter come to the front, please? And tell us how the hell you did that.
I don't know. What am I meant to say? Yeah, I had the pancake timeline going. So basically went through the rushes as quickly as I could. Skipped all the first and second takes. Went straight for the last and picked the best bits. And then put them on a timeline and kept on dragging until I had 5 minutes left, and then just filled those shitty gaps that I'd left the whole time. So that's about it. And yeah, lots of jump cuts. That's about it.
And how did you choose the music? What did you decide?
I just went with my gut. I just played it on loop about 20 times while I was looking through the rushes, each one, and that one just stuck out. Had the moments that tied into the rhythm and the tempos. So yeah, that's about it. Yeah.
Now, what sort of effects did you use?
Nothing really, just time remapping. That's about it. And just and in the last 30 seconds, just put a shitty grade on top on an adjustment layer across the whole thing. So vignette, whatever, all the tricks. Yeah. Little show bag. Thank you. Thanks very much. Oh, nice. Awesome. Lovely. Yes.
It's a very minimalist
It is,
sculpture.
yeah. Very understated.
Extremely useful around a door.
Nice.
And
Thank you.
if there's a nasty murder in your area, we're looking for those. But congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, before we stop.
Thank you.
Where's my trusty? Lovely. Oh, okay. Right, okay, you do that.
Okay.
Right.
Oh yeah. All contestants have got a complimentary Digistore water bottle from Digistor. So thank you. Woo! And if you can also come up, you've got little prize bags. So Gabe, Gabrielle, Louis, Lillian, and Andy. You guys want to? Could we get all the contestants for a photo? Can we get a photo with Louis and...
As you can see, we've rehearsed this a lot.
Yeah.
Thank
you.
Yeah.
We'd just like to thank all the people who contributed for this event. So,
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Yeah. Okay. Better. Okay, we're going to do some thank yous because there's a lot of work in this night, as you can imagine, and a lot of catering, and we've all had that. So tonight we'd like to thank Mark, Greg and the team at Digistore for being our partners in this event, hosting and feeding us. Thank you. We'd also like to thank Karen Eastmuir at Avid and John Barry at Adobe for the gorgeous and, it says generous, but I'll say gorgeous prize contributions. They're very good. I know that Bible. I really want that Bible. Anyway.
Mark, we've got a little thank you bag for you.
Yep, come on up. Everyone's a winner. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks, Mark. Ruth Tamsin and Wares at Audio Network for providing the music for the event and for prize donations. So thank you, Audio Network. We all use you. We know about you. Are they here? Maybe not. Don't know if they're okay. Heidi Tobin at Videocraft for the camera, which Adrian has been waving around with brilliance tonight. Thank you, Adrian, as well. We'd like to thank the people who it would not have been possible without Alison Myers and Elle Fresh the Lion for allowing us to use the footage that was used. And very fine it was. We'd love to thank Luke, Orly, Scott, and very much Danielle as well, who's been absolutely the backbone for organising. I hope you got yourself a bottle of wine. And Timothy over there with the well-balanced diet, volunteering as switch assistant. Thank you, Timothy. You have one. So that type of wraps up. So it sort of wraps it up for the night. I think it's all been great, and it's always wonderful just actually hanging out together as editors, and we should do more of it in another way, but we don't, so here we are. And hopefully we'll be here again next year and another fight to the death.
Yeah, I heard there's several people in the crowd who are going to compete, so... Yes, there's 3. I've found 3 already, so, yeah.
All right. No, I just want to say one little thing on the side is if you haven't already seen it, you should really check out the website for the conditions, wage and conditions. Yeah. Yeah, come on.